Hey guys! So we're getting closer to the end of the year, and it is that time of the year when we all think about what we've achieved in the last year, and more importantly also what we actually want to achieve next year. We all talk about New Year's resolution, and they're normally linked to sort of some more success. Whether it's in your private life or whether it's in your job or in school, we always strive for better results, for improving ourselves, for getting a better job or something, which is very human and natural. But I guess what I want to talk to you today about is, what does success actually mean? And then also, what can we do to be more successful? I think in today's world where there are so many influences on us, whether it's on social media, online, or newspaper, or from peers, it is very hard to know for yourself, when am I successful? What does success mean to myself? And rather what other people tell me success should look like. And often we're somehow pushed to always focus on what is wrong with us. So we're made to believe that in order to improve, you should focus on your problems or your areas of improvement. I would like to challenge you to think actually of what you're already good in. What are your strengths? First of all, what's important to emphasize here is that, of course, every individual, everybody, you, myself, everybody has a unique set of strengths. And have you ever really thought about, like, what are your main strengths? If I was to ask you now, feel free to share it, of course, if you want to, but what are your strengths? Have you really thought about it? It's probably easier for you to say what you're bad in. What are your weaknesses? And I believe personally, only when we fully understand what we're good in, and when we focus on those things, we can actually achieve long-lasting success, and more importantly also happiness, which I believe is closely linked to success. And I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. And in fact, I actually believe, for example, the success of human relationships. So how can we relate to others? How good are we in building relationships, both on a friendship level, but also I think on a more intimate level, actually depends on how good are we in appreciating each other's strength. And this idea basically of focusing on the strength and therefore creating happiness, which ultimately will lead to success, is not really a new concept. Some very famous authors you might have heard about, such as Socrates, Plato, or Aristotle, have said actually something very similar. They've said happiness comes from learning and practicing virtuous character strength. And really, I believe there are two types of people when it comes to the mentality of how to look at success and how to look at building on your strength. It's either the fixed mindset or a growth mindset. Basically a fixed one where people believe we're all born with some sort of innate abilities. And the growth mindset, understanding that whatever we're given, there's room for improvement. We can focus on certain things. We can develop and evolve in our character and also in our strength. To be honest, it does take practice. You're not going to be 10 years, 15 or maybe 18 years old and have fully developed your strength. Or even sometimes, and maybe some of you can relate, even knowing really fully what are my strengths. It takes practice. It takes commitment, of course, but also it takes a good support system. Like it's really important, and people might underestimate this. And I know that Adanna always talks about this, to have positive people around you who encourage you, who support you in what you want to achieve. So that's really, really crucial for your own happiness, for your own success. And I would like to challenge you actually to always ask yourself, when you're about to do something, is what I'm about to do a reflection of who I am or who I want to be? And that will tell you a lot about what direction in life you should go and what decisions you should make. And I want to throw in a very famous and, in my view, very, very important and significant quote. Watch your thoughts, they become words. Watch your words, they become actions. Watch your actions, they become habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. And watch your character, because it becomes your destiny. And as I said in the beginning, of course, it's very difficult to say these are exactly the characteristics maybe you should have to be successful and so forth. But I want to share with you maybe I think 7 or so that I personally, for myself only, apply and believe are probably the most crucial ones. But again, this is very subjective and it's just my own opinion. So my favorites, in my view, the most important characteristics to be happy and successful are: number 1, optimism. Number 2, gratitude. Number 3, social intelligence. Number 4, curiosity. Number 5, self-control. Number 6, enthusiasm. And last but not least, number 7, perseverance. And I think one of the 7 that Adanna and I personally practice or try to practice as much as you can is actually positivity or optimism. I think positivity, optimism is one of the most powerful ways of actually tricking your own brain, your own mind. Because if you already start the day and if you push yourself to look at things in a very optimistic way, if you're optimistic about the future, if you're optimistic about the challenge ahead, the chances of actually succeeding in that task, I believe, are at least double as high. It's not the reality that shapes us, but really it's the lens through which our brain looks at the world that ultimately shapes reality. And if that's the case, really, by changing the lens of how we look at things, we can actually change reality and therefore change your happiness and your success. So that's a very powerful way, I believe, of actually looking at your life, at challenges and at goals in your life. Some people say that, how can you be unhappy? And I'm sure you've come across it yourself. You look at somebody like, this person must have it all, this person must be the happiest person on earth. But really, if you say something like this, what you're assuming when you say that is that external factors determine your happiness. Being at Harvard University determines whether you're happy or not. External factors actually only determine about 10% of our happiness and our success. And 90% is actually determined by the way our brain perceives the world and how you look at the world, the lens of your brain. For example, research has also found that about only 20% of your success at your job or even academia is determined by your IQ. About 75% is determined by your optimism, by your social support, and by your ability to see stress as a challenge and not a threat. Again, coming back to being optimistic rather than pessimistic. And now lastly, what I also find interesting, if you think about it, a lot of people think that if I work harder, I'll be more successful and then I'll be happy if I'm successful. So I set myself a goal of getting a job or increasing my salary or achieving better grades, and then I'll be happy. But let's be honest, and I hope you can relate to this. Even if you achieve one of your goals, let's say you want to improve your grade from C to B in math or something, it never really stops. We always, of course, we're humans. If somebody makes $1 million, okay, they want to have 10 million. Once they make 10 million, they want to make 100 million. We always look above us. We never look down and appreciate what we've achieved. We always want to achieve more. But that also means that we will never really be fully happy. If we're only happy after we succeeded in our goal, there will always be another goal and another goal and another goal. So if you think like that, you will never be fully happy in life and will never be really appreciative of everything you've achieved. But now, if you look at it that way, that you need to be happy, you need to be positive in order to be successful, it totally changes everything. The reverse formula, if you want, between success and happiness. We need to adopt a mentality, a mindset of positivity, of optimism. Only then we can truly be successful. So now you might ask yourself, well, how can I achieve this sort of positive outlook, positive mindset and create an optimistic view on my challenges ahead? There are a couple of things that I can personally recommend, and it's up to you really, of course, to see which one of those is the right thing to do for you. So one of the things people have done to create a more positive mindset, for example, is to every day write down 3 things they're grateful for. So I'm going to challenge you now, for at least 2 weeks, 14 days, write down 3 things you're grateful for, 3 new things every single morning before you get out of the house. The second thing is journaling. I again would like to challenge you to write down 1 positive experience that you had in the last 24 hours, maybe every night before you go to bed, for a minimum of 2 weeks, 14 days. The third thing is exercise. I think it's very simple and straightforward, but you need to also have the sort of physical peace of mind. The fourth thing a lot of people find useful and helpful, I've tried it myself, but I haven't really quite got into it a lot, is meditation. In today's world, our mind is distracted by at least 3-4 things at the same time. Multitasking is the norm nowadays. And to really give your mind and brain the time to just focus on one single thing can be very relaxing, can help you to refocus and re-energize your body, your mind and your brain. And another challenge I would like to pose to you is, for the next 14 days, every day, do a little random act of kindness. Just do something nice, whether it's an email to an old friend, a colleague at work, or to just help an old lady across the street, stand up in the bus when an old lady comes in, there's no free seats available anymore. Just something small. Every day, one thing for the next 14 days. So those were just some of my ideas of what it means to be successful and how to actually become successful. As you heard throughout the video, in my view, happiness is the base to success. First, we have to actually change our mindset. We need to first work on ourselves, first to create a positive mindset, optimism, positivity in our lives. Then we will actually have a much higher chance of becoming successful. And that, of course, in turn again will make us feel fulfilled and happy again. So try to look at things differently. Change the lens of your brain of how you look at things. It will change the reality you live in. Just knowing about it and talking about it and agreeing doesn't help. So really try to do some of the exercise I told you. See if you can come up with other ones as well, and feel free to share, please. I'm sure a lot of people might benefit from your experience as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was useful, and thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, subscribe, whatever you want to do. All the best. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.
I get a lot of emails from young girls asking how I manage to stay focused, how I manage to be so ambitious